Right, hopefully you can see this. So I'm going to make some bread with strong white flour cars. I just got it from Sainsbury's. I think it were 150 for 1.5 kilo. So we're going to need 500 grams strong white flour. We need 300 ml of lukewarm water, a packet of bread yeast, and 25 grams of butter and 2 teaspoons of sugar. But what I'm going to do with this first, actually, before I start, I'm going to make a starter for the yeast. Instead of putting the yeast straight into the flour, I'm going to set a starter off in here, so just so it activates the yeast. So look, obviously I'm just making it as we go along. First bread I ever made was yesterday, and it was a bit different bread, different flour. So I'm just going to try this way to see if it's any better when yeast's already activated. Give it a little whisk, get it all that stirred in. It should go like a milky colour, and then it'll should start like foaming a little bit once it's activated. This warm water will activate it. I'm going to put the sugar into this as well, and that'll like feed the yeast. So 2 teaspoons of sugar. I'm not sure if you can see that from here, but that's the yeast going in. Get it all mixed in a minute. 2 teaspoons of sugar. That'll activate that yeast. Give it a good mix up, and I'll just stand this aside then while I'm just mixing flour and butter together. Oh, we need some salt as well. Put 1.25 teaspoons of salt. But I'll put that straight in at flour, because I think if you put flour straight in at yeast, salt straight in at yeast, it can kill the yeast and salt. Yeah, so look at that. That's a nice milky consistency now. So what's in there now is 300 millilitres of lukewarm water, the sachet of yeast, bread yeast, and 2 teaspoons of sugar. So I'm just going to put that to the side and let that activate itself. So in this now we need 500 grams of flour. You can open the bugger, should have opened it already for us. Right, 500 grams I've zeroed the scales with this on it, so this should make 2 decent size, smallish, decent loaves. I hope you can hear me, because my microphone doesn't work for my Samsung that I'm doing it on. Right, there's a bit too much in there. 550 grams, so I'll take a bit out. 5. $500 grams. Now we need some salt. So it's the salt is 1 teaspoon, 1.25 teaspoons of salt. So that's about 1.25. So we've got the sugar, the yeast, and the water going there. Here we've got the flour and the salt. So now I need 25 grams of butter. Let me zero this. Yeah, 25 grams of butter. I'm using some Lurpak, that's what I've got. Too much. Bang on. I'll do that. Add that into a mix. And then we'll just rub this butter into the mixture. It's a bit like probably making pastry, but just with less butter. Just get it rubbed in so it's all in with, you know, like breadcrumby. just till your lumps of butter disappear, basically. I hope you can hear me, because like I say, I haven't got my bloody microphone working. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna have a look on YouTube, see what other microphones are compatible with. I've only got a Samsung S5, so I'll see what's compatible with that. Just rub it through my fingers gently and lightly. I haven't sieved this first, I don't know whether you're supposed to, I don't know. I'm just going to see how it works. Like I say, I made my first bread yesterday, which turned out alright actually. It was like a seeded bread, just to add some seeded flour in, so I'll give it a go. But I've had to do it in an halogen because I don't have an oven, and this will be done in an halogen as well. So, but it shows that you can do it, because I did actually manage to make 2 decent loaves yesterday, which we had for tea, and I had some of it today for toasted for breakfast. It was lovely, nice and fresh, and kitchen smelled beautiful, like a little bakery. Yeah, so that's all that butter mixed in now. I'm just going to give my hands a quick wash. Right, yeah, so that's butter, salt and flour mixed together. So now I'm just going to add gently the yeast mixture. Probably do a bit more, to be honest, but time. But anyway, it'll activate. Just going to get a bit of fork. But I might just leave that another couple of minutes, so I'll pause here. I'm just going to let that activate a bit more, so you can see. I want it to start forming a bit more than that. Where am I? There, look. Yeah, so that's the mixture flour so far. So I'll add that into there, a bit at a time. Just whisk it up with fork until it gets to, you know, so I can mould it with my hand, and then we'll knead it for about 10 minutes. I think you can do it in a machine for 5 minutes, but I haven't got a machine, but an extra 5 minutes to do it by hand, don't bother me. So I'll come back to you in a little bit. I'll just pause this for now, and I'll come back to you in about 5-10 minutes. Alright, see you in a bit. Okay, so that yeast activated now. If you see it from the side, see it all forming like an head on it, like a pint of beer. That's how I wanted it to be, just so it's, I know it's activated. Right, I'll put that in. I'm going to have to hope for the best that you can see for me. I'm going to get a better stand for my camera so it can be a bit higher and adjust it a bit better. I'm just going to give that a little whisk around, and I'll just pour it in here a bit at a time, not too much. And then just use a fork, you know, so it mixes it all in and get it all to bind together. So, yeah, the fork's good for it. Yeah, scrape excess off, bang it in, and add a bit more. 300 ml of water, it lukewarm, so you don't want it hot, you don't want it cold. You know, like a lukewarm bath. Yeah. Just keep stirring mixture together till it starts gripping it all, you know, and coming together as a bit of a dough. It's getting a bit tighter now. Yeah, still a lot of loose at bottom, so we'll let that rest. Just at rest. All in, and just carry on mixing it till it all comes together as a dough, starting to form now. Then you better get your hand in a bit, and then we've got to knead it for a good 10 minutes, just to trap all air in it. Makes a nice light bread apparently. So like I say, I'm new to it as well, so if you're bored at home, just grab a bag of flour, bit of yeast, which I bought in Sainsbury's as well. It was like Ovis yeast, I'll show you. There's 6 sachets in that, and it's a liquid yeast in each one. And I just had it yesterday when I made the first test one. I put the yeast powder straight into there as it says, but I thought I'll just activate, because I make a lot of homebrew me, I have done it in the past, and I always activated yeast first to make sure there were not wrong with yeast, you know what I mean? So I knew once that I've activated, it started forming, that the yeast were kicking off, starting to eat the sugars and stuff. So I've done it that way this time. See if it makes a difference. I mean, I'm not sure, but at least I do know that the yeast is activated then. So yeah, that's the bread. I think I can't remember how much that one. I've had it a few months in cupboard, but it's still in date. I think we're £1 odd or something. I'll have a look next time I go down. So yeah, you just need that, 2 teaspoons of sugar, a spoon and a quarter of salt, 300 ml of water, which you're going to have generally always in, and then that yeast and flour. That's it. Yeah, look, that's forming now. Look, we'll be able to get his hand in there now. Just bring it all together as a dough. Look, yeah, perfect. In fact, that feels better than yesterday, because yesterday it was bloody really sticky and I had to keep adding a bit more flour to it to get it right. But that, I mean, in fact, I'm not sure if that is supposed to be not sticky or sticky, to be honest. Like I say, I'm new to it. That, lovely. Yeah, it's a little bit tacky inside. I think that's supposed to be about right. So now I'm going to put a bit of flour on the we've got a beer as well. I always have a little bit of a beer. Just releases the creative juices. It stops you worrying about stuff. You like, have a cup of beer, like, yeah, throw it in, it'll be right. Right, so I'm going to put a bit of flour. Just going to onto. I'll bring you over here so you can see any better now. So I'll bring it over here. I don't know if it's a bit dark in here or not, but try you there. Yeah, that might be all right. I'll just put a bit of flour on the surface, and I'm just going to knead this for 10 minutes. So I'll do a couple of kneads just so you can see. I think most people just bring it in the middle like this, work it in. You can use 2 hands if you want. Get a bit of a rhythm going. If it's a little bit tacky, just add a bit more flour, try not to let it stick to the board. So I've got a good 10 minutes of this to do, so I won't run you through all that. Just with base of your palm there, just roll it in. Whether it's bang right, I don't know, don't take my word for it, but if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't, but I'll let you know that end. But I did one similar yesterday, it worked, so you can get a bit of a rhythm going. And this then, I think what's it called, gluten or something, it releases them all, makes it nice and elastic, you know, nice elasticity, and I think gives you a nice light bread then. Right, so I'll stop you there because you don't need to see all this, and I'll bring you back when I've done 10 minutes and we'll have a look at next step. Alright. Okay, so 10 minutes nearly up. So I found that if you just sort of like use 2 hands and push it away from you and then roll it back, if you see what I mean, and then in, and it folds it in. Just keep adding a bit of flour just so it doesn't stick. And then it'll get nice and elasticated. Yeah, you know, glutens and stuff, I think that's needs releasing. So what I'm going to do anyway, got that, I timed it. I did about 11 minutes to be honest, because I did a minute or so before I started timer. I'm going to cut this in half first and lightly grease 2 trays, and then put it in, you know, separate, one in each tray, form it again and let it grow. Leave it for a couple of hours then, and let it double in size, and then we should be ready to cook it. But like I say, mine's an halogen. Mine's an halogen oven, so form it into a bit of a bread shape, I suppose. I don't think it has to be perfect. You don't need to cut it with a knife to eat it, aren't you? So anyway, just sort of like fold it under. Don't look too brilliant underneath, but I don't think it matters. You're not going to see that. That size of a tea cake or a bread cake or a bread bun, I don't know what you call it where you're from, but you know what you have like a butty in, a sausage sandwich or a bacon sandwich from sandwich shops, about the size of one of them. form it any older, I suppose. Try and get them to look nice, but I suppose if you keep rolling it might do that. Oh yeah, like I say, I'm learning as well. Keep tucking it under, it stretches out, creases out. Yeah, nice little bread bun. Do that and again then. Stretch all crap out. Make it look nice and smooth, more like bread. Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, that was a bit bigger I think, but it doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to put a little cross across it. So when it raises, it'll open up that. It'll look like an authentic old farmhouse bread, hopefully. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'll keep you with me for it. Just get my baking trays. It's gonna, I think you can use a bit of oil actually. I've got a bit of olive oil. I used a bit of butter on first go of the day. A bit of oil, just so it don't stick. And then just rub that in. Just so when you put the dough in there, it don't stick to it. So if I can make it, anybody can. And just put that in there. These should double in size after an hour and a half, maybe even 2. What I'm going to do is put them together. I'm going to get a clean tea towel, dampen it and put it over the top. That'll keep it from drying out. So I'll come back to you. Like I say, cover it with tea towel, damp. Just leave it an hour and a half and keep checking it. Should double in size and then you should be able to put it in the oven or the, well in my case an halogen oven, but I'll show you that and settings for that I'm going to use when I get to that stage. Alright guys, catch you in a bit. Okay, so they've been about an hour and 45 minutes. I think they've pretty much risen to where they need to be. That's definitely doubled in size, if not more. That and has, right big bad boy. So I'm going to put them in. I've preheated the halogen oven. I'm going to put them in there now. I'll just show you that, but it's in the other room in here. But I've got to try and get it in nice and gently. So I'll just take the lid off ready. And I'm going to swap hands actually because I'm left-handed. I want to make sure I don't drop it. Sorry. So, out carefully. Just going to drop it in the bottom of the halogen oven. Do. Pop lid on. Did this yesterday and dropped lid in and crushed it. Right, so I've set it for 30 minutes. I set it for 40 so it'd eat for 10. Put it in at 30 minutes, so it takes about 10 to 20 minutes. I may after, because this with being an halogen, it seems to cook the top quicker than the bottom. So what I've done is I've made a little heat shield that I can stand on top of that bread, you know, a little bit above, so that it's got a bit of height to it, so that it stops the heat, because the heat's coming down, burning it. So I'll give it 10 minutes and see how it goes, and I may have to put that on. And then what I might have to do when it's finished cooking is just test the bottom, because with all the heat coming down from the top, it sort of like doesn't seem to cook the bottom as quick. So I may just sort of flip it over and give it 5 minutes on underneath, and then it should be perfect. So you can actually do it. I mean, I did it yesterday with some seeded. That was my first ever try. So this is my second attempt, and we'll just, but this is with white strong flour, so just making white bread. So we'll just see how it turns out, and then we'll know if it works with both flours. Then tomorrow I think I might make some hot cross buns, and I'm going to make like my version of an homemade quiche as well, which is quite simple. But anyway, you'll see that on next vlogs. Alright, I'll show you this. I'll come back to this in maybe about 10 minutes just to see how it's going, and then if I show you how, if I have to put that little heat shield on that I've made. Alright, catch you in a bit. Okay guys, so like I said earlier, the top's getting brown really quick compared to the rest of it, so I'm just going to take the lid off and add as carefully as I can. Sorry for throwing you all over. And stand that on top like a little bit of an heat sink, so that, you know, it deflects the heat around and stops it going straight to the top of my bread. Okay, so I'll get back to you in a couple of minutes, or maybe let's have a look in maybe 15-20 minutes. And just to let you know, I'm doing this on 225. It states on the yeast packet to do it 230, but I think that's for conventional ovens, because this is an halogen oven. They tend to be a little bit hotter, so I think maybe you do it fan assisted. So I've left it on 225, and anyway, it looks to be doing okay. But like I say, I put that heat sink onto it so it just don't burn all top before it rests done. Alright, okay, I'll come back to you when it's nearly done. Okay, bye. Okay, so I'm just going to have a quick check of it now. It's been in 10, 20, 25 minutes. It should be done really. Oh, looking good. Oh, you bugger. Burnt my arm, be careful. Yeah, so it's looking alright. Like I say, that really got quite burnt at the very beginning. I might just give it, in fact I might take it out and just check underneath, so bear with me. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly show you. I've turned it upside down and it's still a bit soft on bottom, so it's cooked perfect on top. So I'm going to turn it upside down and give it 5 minutes on underneath, just to crisp that up, because it should be like tapping hollow from what I've seen. So okay, I'll get it back to you shortly. Okay guys, right, so I did it for another 5 minutes upside down and it's hollow now, so that's perfect. I mean, this video's all over the place, to be honest. I've only done a couple of attempts before of vlogging, so I'll get better as it goes along. But yeah, it's nice and golden brown. I mean, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be that hard or not, to be honest, but it's nice and crispy. But I'm going to leave it to cool down for 15 minutes, 20 minutes or something, and then I'm going to cut into it, put a bit of butter on it, see what it looks like, and I'll get back to you, show you what the end result is, what the end product is, and whether it's worth doing it in an halogen oven. But I did it yesterday with some seeded bread, and that turned out not bad actually, for say for my first go. So this is my second attempt. Be careful, because I've burnt my finger, and I've also, I don't know if you can see, burnt my arm on bloody halogen. So yeah, health and safety. Get your gloves on, your goggles and your hard hat. And if you've got any rigger boots, sling them on as well if you don't like me. Alright, I'll get back to you in a bit.
Does it sound all over then?
Oh, shit. Okay, so just cooling it down, and it's just softening. It's like a bread, I don't know what you call them where you come from, but we call them a tea cake. But it feels like a big tea cake, or a bread bun, or a balm, or a bap, whatever you call it. Bread roll. But it's lovely, it's quite big. I mean, I've got big hands, to be honest. So I'd say it's like that size of maybe a small cabbage. Something in it. What do you think, Judy? I'm just asking my partner. Like a small football. But yeah, I'll get back to you when I cut it, butter it and taste it. Okay, let's have a look. I'm going to cut this now. Bear with me. See what, I haven't got a bread knife at the minute. It's in my camper van, but we're locked down in a little cabin at the minute. Oh, cutting nice. Whoa, now that looks proper like bread to me. Look at that, proper soft. I'm going to butter that. Bit of Lurpak, my favourite butter, I love it. Nice butter. Butter's lovely. Plenty on. Not bothered about my weight. And there you go. Oh yeah, that's really good. Really good. Look at that. Proper bread. That's better than I've made that. That brown one was nice yesterday, but I really do like white bread. Well, it was like a wholemeal seeded I made, which was really nice, but this is much better for me. I like it a lot. Oh yeah. Yeah, so guys, you can make bread in halogen. So I think with 25 minutes, I did it from top. After 10 minutes, put my heat shield on that I've made in the halogen, just to reflect the heat from going directly onto the top of bread. And then after 25 minutes, I turned it upside down in its tray, and then just put it back in halogen and let it cook bottom till it was hollow, and it's perfect. Okay, I'm going to leave this one here because I've got to tend to my burns. So like I said earlier, be careful, especially with halogen, because I did put the ring on. I've got another one going there, so I may just give you a quick update on this one. But because I put the extender ring on, when I was putting my hand in to get it out, I managed to catch my arm and burn my finger. So always be careful. Okay, so see you on the next one. Bye.